Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Howdy, howdy, the one person that is here, and welcome to a Sunday stream. Hope you're well, and safe, and happy. And we'll take it steady for the first couple of minutes so people can trundle in, turn up and say hello. All being glared at by Puddy Cat. Here we go. Evening, Kay. I'm okay. How are you? I've got done some interesting fishy things this week. Just got fat loaches about. Yes, I know. Yes. Well, I've definitely got a female clown loach anyway. She's full of eggs. They don't breed in home aquaria very easily anyway. One of the new fish I've got is already bred, so that's a bonus. Downside is they've already eaten the fry. We'll go into that in a little more detail later. So as I was saying, I hope everyone's had a good week. Hope the weather's not been too evil or nasty near you. Thankfully, not too much of that horrid yellow thing in the sky. He says, getting glared out by the... Hello, little Lisa. How are you? Hope you're all well. Yeah, me. Sunday night, I'm attracting all the ladies. So I think we should start with what's been or has been moved around in the fish house. Let's be honest. So firstly, the clown plecos have come out of quarantine. They've gone into their forever home. Yeah, I'm okay. It's everyone else. So yeah, the clown plex are in their new tank. You never know. Hopefully, some breedy going on. The glow light chop ray danios have been moved from the flex and they're now in here. The little things you can see zooming about. You're a lady. Compared to me, you're a lady, Kay. And I've got the boobs, and I've got the facial hair for a lady from Great Yarmouth, but that's about it. Or King's Lynn. Delete is applicable. So is that the only movements that have happened? Clowns in, Daniel's moved. 20. No, what was it? Yeah, 21 more bristle noses went today. Another 30 odd cherry shrimp. Visited a new fish shop during the week, which there will be a store tour video later in the week. Down near Ipswich. Swear word, sorry, I have to have a drink and get the taste of that out of my mouth. The IP word. It's a Norfolk-Suffolk thing. And so, obviously, Sharpe hath been buying new fishies. Yay! Congratulations, Lisa. Now, you see, here's where we talk about what I've been buying. And I'm going to make you swear. Because from the new place I visited, the Scope Aquatics, we got, probably hiding up, Oh, you can just see the male hiding up down the back behind the sponge filter, and the female poking her nose out of the coconut hut. So we have a pair of Apistogramma cacatoides, the double red, I think. Yeah, they both got breeding colours on, and she's in a coconut hut, so you never know. And then today we got somewhere, yeah, it's a bit straight-ish. No, that way, I don't know. We'll get there somewhere. So we have a group of 5 white or platinum mollies. We got those this afternoon, and one of the females, how can I put it? We got fry in the tank. Literally a couple of hours, and I'm now a molly breeder. Mandy Pandy, hello my dear. I'm definitely attracting all the ladies today. So yeah, yeah. I was looking at the swordtails, and then I saw some really lovely gold mollies. I was like, oh, they're pretty. And then I saw the platinum white ones, and it was like, yeah, we've got to have those. Despite the fact they're going to disappear in that tank on camera, but especially when the lights are out, they yes, they're happy Cara snacks, the molly fry, exactly, Kay. Yeah, I'm not worried about putting live bearers in here, because if the adult mollies don't eat them, the Acaras will. If the Acaras don't, the rainbow fish will. If the rainbow fish don't, then the clown loaches will. So yeah, it is cool. I mean, they're constantly active, and they were great to watch in the flex. But yeah, seeing them do zoomies in a 200 litre, very cool. So the Acaras just sit there looking at them, going, "Really? Why?" Hello, New England Endler. How are you? So yes, pair of Apistogrammas, mollies. Move the clown plecos into their new tank. Actually, Lisa, they were really easy to catch. Those Danios. They're not that bright. Put the net in. First I moved it towards them. 2 of them swam into the net. Pop them in the jug. Put the net back in, and the other 4 swam into the net. Yeah. Anyone would think they were guppies are, that's guppy level of stupidity, that is. Now the clown plecos, they were a bit harder to catch, and especially being so kind of spiny. Yeah, they got a bit caught up in the net, but we got that sorted out. And as I was saying to Mandy, was it Friday or Saturday? It might have been yesterday even, I can't remember. My clown plecos are broken. Yeah, they don't hide. They're out and about on the glass, on the substrate, front and center, eating, that's plecking. So it seems I have a way with plecos. And also, Fred and Ginger, now they have a choice of 2 smaller caves. There's been some cave action going on. Fred hasn't quite got it figured out that he's got a trapper in there yet, but we're getting there. Ginger goes in the cave. He kind of blocks the cave for a couple of seconds, then swims in with her. So she swims out. Can't wait till the white clouds are big enough to be netted. Nightmare cleaning the tank. Had to recapture some from the siphon. Yeah. Been there, done that. This is why I water change into a bucket. In my case, it was platy fry. And first I knew I had platy fry was when Zach was sat there by the bucket meowing at me. I'm like, what are you meowing at? It's just a bucket of water, dude. And I sort of look closer. Oh, what's he seeing in there? Look closer. Look really hard. What's that moving? Oh, and that was how I first found out I'd bred my first fish. Finding a fry in the water change bucket. Thought my clownfleck died. Never saw him until we moved. The discus tank's a bigger one. Popped up a piece of driftwood after not being fed for 4 months. Oh, bless him. Or her, whichever it may be. Tricky to tell, but those. Yeah, baby fish. Yeah, and that was when Zach, Floof Monster, decided that when I was doing water changes, it was his job to sit by the bucket and make sure none of his friends got siphoned up. Or if they did get siphoned up, he would warn me about it. And he'd keep telling me until I netted them out and put them back in the tank again. Then he'd be quiet. But yeah, I say platies were the first fish I bred. Like discus food and bug bites. Yeah, I'll say it's going to be getting whatever food the discus miss. And got wood in there, so getting a bit of protein and plenty of wood. Who was it who was saying it yesterday? I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the tanks that you don't look after, or the fish that you don't necessarily look after, the tanks aren't in the greatest condition. They're not getting specific care for the fish. They're the ones that thrive. They get big, fat, and chunky, and healthy, and happy. Whereas the ones you really take care over are the ones that end up kicking the bucket. So yeah. Yellow, yes. Yes, S even. Yeah, where was I? Babies in buckets for Fred and Ginger. So, and the other thing I got today was something I've not seen before. Is the Oase or Oase Organics Daily Granulated food. Hello, Scott. How are you? Yeah, it's basically, he says, looking over staple food for all fish species. Rambles on about how it's all organic and what have you. He's actually MSC certified as well, which is always a good thing to see. But yeah, it's pretty much salmon and shrimp with a bit of wheat to hold it together. Yeah, that's just it. Just it, Lisa. If you got a mulm or a fairly matured tank in there with babies in there, the babies feed off of the microorganisms that are living in the mulm and on the plants and the algae. And yeah, I didn't know Oase made food either, Mandy. I was in the pet shop today, selling off more bristle noses and shrimpies, and yeah. And just in case Dan hasn't seen it, because Dan only just got here. Howdy, Dan. Trying out the new Oase food as well. Or Oase, as I think probably should be pronounced. Was it pricey? Wasn't really too pricey. It was $5.99 for 80-gram tub, which will go a fair distance. But try these things out and give it a go. Stevie P, 2003, Aquatics, kind of size granule, kind of size that mollies and apistos will quite easily and happily eat. It's pretty hard to show on a camera, but no, you can get a pinch. They're a hard granule. They grind up quite easily in your fingers, or you could put them in a salt grinder. Yeah, there was those bigger pellets, flakes, all sorts of different types for different fish and situations and stuff. So nice to see. Oasa. I think we should just call it Oas. Marret, lovely marret. Yeah, it's the first time I've seen them. So see them, go, ooh, shiny, new, buy, try. As I say, you weren't here in time. Dan, late. Don't drop me ciggy on the floor. It's all right, it's gone out. If I want to see, again, probably hiding up. In there is, yeah, they're both hiding. We've got a pair of epistogramas in there. We have theoretically 5 platinum mollies in there, although there are actually considerably more. You can see one up the top of the tank. Yes. Cookies are always good. I know, Cookie Monster. But everyone, yeah, Oasis. That's what I would have called it. This is like Oasis, but without the "is" on the end. So Oasis, but I think they're a bit more posh than that. So it's Oase. Yeah, I know. Yeah, 5 and change. Yes, so literally, I put 5 mollies in there at what was it, about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And when I looked, just as I was setting this up, yeah, there were babies in there. Oasa. Now, if it's German, you got to say it angrily. Yeah, a bit more German. Yeah, I'm wanting cookies now. But yeah, so coffee time. How low fish tropic? It's always coffee time or caffeine time. Sharpe like, I need coffee. Yeah, I can understand that. Trying to figure out my accent, probably. Oh dear, Mandy, you don't have to be all super mod in here, Mandy. Just because you are a mod, that's because seeing your name in grey it's weird. That's why I made you a mod. Just because your name in grey looks weird. It should be in blue. You don't have to go hitting like buttons and links and all that stuff. Actually, yeah, it was you, wasn't it, Dan, that had the Oase canister that you got? That's still going well? Because of all the canister designs I've seen, that one seems to be the most sensible. You can't help it. No. Oh, I'm getting beeped at by my phone. Yeah, well, now my brain's fried again. Always is. Oh, and I'm in the top chat, so I'm missing people. I didn't even. There it is. Howdy, Big J, Jared. Let's just get ourselves into live chat. Although the thing doesn't actually come up, you just have to kind of click somewhere random and it turns up. Yeah, the Biomaster Thermo. And I think, I know I remembered watching a video, and I know it was someone that didn't bug me and annoy me or sound like they were doing an advert. So I figured it was you. Yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not mod material either. I can't figure out the linky thing for the life of me, and yeah, I'm normally the one getting in trouble. So yes. Hey Josh, was teeth in. Rise some design. How you doing? Cheers to the backwards comment. Hey, that's what you're going to get from me. Hey, I remembered it. Right, that's me remembering something is a massive compliment. No, Mandy, you know what I'm like. I'm so close. I sit on that line of getting blocked or banned. It's although I do give it a while. If I'm going into a stream I'm not familiar with, I try to give it at least one visit before I let myself loose, just to gauge the kind of level of crudity involved. Used to admin a border collie group on Facebook, enough after 4 years. Yeah, I used to admin a couple of scale modeling groups on Facebook. I'm glad I don't anymore. Oh boy. No, and it was always fun when someone go on about how awesome German tanks are, and I go, no, they're not. And then they'd argue with me. I go, you do realize you're arguing with admin, right? But yeah, I mean, at least with border collie group, you got lots and lots of very cute, pretty doggies to look at. And you like swinging a band hammer. Yeah, it's always fun to swing a band hammer every once in a while. And the only people who have been banned from this stream have been for not for trolling, for religious extremism or political extremism, or just being an absolute beep. Oh, popped in to say hi. I got 2 out of 3 kids here. Well, you have kiddie time, Mama Marrett. You need it. Kiddie time is more important than random English dude on YouTube time. So you spend time with your kiddies. Not that they're really kids anymore. By the time I have a banhammer, I'd forget. Yes, there are some things I don't forget, especially when I'm in the middle of the argument. Or if they're saying Russian tanks are rubbish. Russian tanks are awesome. Like the kids from the Sharpeeps. Oh dear, Sharpeeps. I suppose it's better than Sharpoops. Yes, it was 2 in particular, and I think one of them was sent to try and cause problems because I banned the other one. So long as you can. Youngest is gaming. Middle one's dead. Oh dear. Now, hubby's got a skull ache. Oh, poor Marrett. Hubby's got a skull ache. Oh dear. You won't be getting any. Sharp peeps. Yeah, well, that works. Well, I mean, given the way I normally am. No, they're just Russian, so they're better than German. Anything's better than a German tank. And you're making dinner. Oh dear. It's in the modelling hobby, and if Josh is still here, he'll probably be able to back me up on this. World War II German tanks are treated like some kind of god machine. Boom boom explosion tanks, Steve. Now, for some reason, I'll say the Target and the Tiger and Panther, get idolized and fetishized, despite the fact that they were really bad. I know, Dan. It was a proper dad joke. That's why I ignored it. And the tank fell apart if it hit big stone. Yeah, exactly. Why would you purposefully design a tank that, in order to transport it via rail, which you had to do, you had to put a different set of tracks on it because otherwise it's too wide to go on the train, and then also overcomplicate everything so it breaks down every 5 minutes, or make it so heavy it gets stuck in. I think they said they got stuck on average 8 times a day. Yeah. Scotty. Mr. Hour, Alien World Aquatics, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. And little Miss Giggles. I mean, come on. Yeah, but I like Russian tanks because they look cool. And and they did the job they were meant to do. They were, yeah, it's just a game of numbers. Yeah. At the height of the siege of, was it Moscow? Can't remember. But the Russians were producing T-34 tanks as fast as the Germans could knock them out. So it was like the tank would get knocked out, the crew would walk back to the factory, get in another tank, and rejoin the battle. Says a lot, really, doesn't it? And some of them weren't even painted. The Liberty ships, yes, I have. The record speed for building one of those was ludicrous. Was it something like, it was less than a week, weren't it, to build a transport ship that's capable of being filled up with tanks and troops and go across the Atlantic? Yeah. I won't bow my head and doff my cap to much American military stuff, but yeah, the naval production during World War II was just ludicrous. I mean, the amount of the sheer amount of destroyers that were being produced is just mind-blowing, let alone, as to say, Liberty ships, carriers. It was just ludicrous. And the Germans never had a chance of winning that war, nor the Japanese, really. So, well, what are you up to, silly Shelleys? I never got the chance to swim back. No, I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I was watching a video earlier this week about, I was watching a young a young person's reaction to a video about the amount of people that died during or as a result of World War II, and yeah, the numbers. I mean, you talk about the Allied losses, the Brits, US, France, and the numbers are pretty scary. Then you look at German, and it's like, geez, wow. And then the line for the Russian ones just keeps going and going and going and going and go. You're like, oh my god, yeah, it's scary to look at. And most of those men well, weren't old enough to drink in the States, but they gave their lives for their country. So most youngsters think Titanic is just a movie. Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour movie about a ship hitting an iceberg. It's not exactly a movie you can give spoilers out to because everyone knows what's going to happen. But yeah, anyway, so the only salute I can actually properly do to everyone who lost their life fighting in whichever war it happens to be. Because war is not between people, it's between governments. Yeah, Titanic is just a movie, or they think World War II lasted for about a week. I think Mary either got it from Amazon or is it Redbubble? One of them. I'll have to try and remember to ask her where it came from. Between idiots, yeah. I mean, even now, I watch historical videos, and now I've been learning about wars and history and stuff for decades, and I'm still finding out stuff I had no idea about. I mean, individual acts of heroism, actual heroism. Need some very. Yeah, I've got a few. I mean, and hello Muppet, by the way, if I didn't say hello earlier. So I got this one. Got one that's best fish dad ever, and one that is probably perfect. Well, it is perfectly suited for me. Got a picture of a fish and a picture of a tank. A fish tank, which I think should probably be my logo, really, shouldn't it? Picture of a fish and a picture of a tank, or a fish driving a tank. Foo Fighters, yeah, there's all sorts of weirdness went on in World War II. Sup, J Rock? There must be some stuff being done if J Rock is about. Oh, Mandy's running away. Yes, so the Foo Fighters. What was that flight of? I can't remember the planes. Forgive me. An entire flight of planes, trainee pilots, with an experienced pilot in the lead, managed to completely disappear in the Bermuda Triangle. That wasn't B-17s. It was a single seat fighter. I don't think it was Mustangs. Yeah, B-17s was over the Pacific, I think. This was Bermuda Triangle, single, weren't Mustangs, weren't any of the Hellcats, Wildcats, not Lightnings, might have been Razorbacks. I can't remember, but yeah. An entire flight of them just went missing. Yeah, literally an entire flight of planes went missing over the Bermuda Triangle. They got lost somehow, ended up there, and no one ever found them. Get someone's like, breathe, the rest of the world. Nope. Yeah. It's usually just about oil. Yeah, following large groups of bombers. That sounds a very busy morning, that does, J-Rock. Filled the pool and the pond, fed the fish, watered the grass, had a dab. That's the important bit. Well, fed the fish, had a dab. They're the important bits. Watered the flowers and sitting down for a soda. Yeah. That's a busy morning. That's definitely time for a sit down. And if you're me, that'd be time for a lay down and a nap. Yeah, I've not really done much, but then I tend not to do much. No, I'd say it's not because you're female, Kay. It's because you're sensible. Yeah, most wars make absolutely no sense. It's just you look and you go, why? Just because someone at some point decided that that's where a line should be drawn on a map to say, this is our bit, this is your bit, and the people in the other bit thought the line should be in a different place. So they go to war over it. Some wars, well, yeah, they're different. Just don't play with someone who's got double double jointed thumbs, because when they bend their thumb right back, you lose. Sounds like we're going to the zoo. Yeah. I mean, the LFS I went to today is basically the local free zoo. Which you got the freshwater section, got the marine section, got the outdoor fish section, you got the burn it with fire section, which is spiders, scorpions, various other insects and bug things. Although the little red vampire crabs do look cool. Got the reptile section, furry section, flappy section, petting zoo outside, and you got the eek, it's going to kill me section, which is fairly small. So yeah, I've got caiman, large tortoises, little monkeys, reptiles, lizards, snakes, everything you can think of really that you might want to buy as a pet other than cats and dogs. You know, when you go into the local pet store and you see a sign that says Goliath bird eating spider, you go, nope. Territory of Suckmore tanks in the fish lounge rather than Longview. DK keeps laughing. Yeah, I'd be putting the cricket box in, Dan, just to be safe. Fish lounge. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised you did, Marrett. Yeah, right in the middle of the action. Blucher, yes. I'm probably getting the pronunciation right, well, wrong, but heard about the Blucher. It was I was watching the first Battle of Narvik, where the German destroyers tried to land, and unfortunately the Norwegian ships didn't know whether to fire on them or not, and got sunked. Then the British destroyers came in, had a big scrap. And then the British went, hello, Mr. Royal Navy. Oh, is that HMS Warspite? Yeah, would you kindly load the high explosive into your 15-inch guns and go down that? Yeah. Little destroyers versus 15, 14s on there. 14s or 15s? 14s on Warspite. Yeah, but 14-inch high explosive shells fired at basically unarmored destroyers, radar, everything. Yeah. And plus, Warspite had plot armor. And it survived Jutland in World War One. The room she's been trying to claim, yeah, it's probably not sticking. It's Mrs. DKF's room that has some fish tanks in it. That is the correct term there, Dan. Place of the bleach went down as your hometown. Oh. I mean, cool historical tie-in, but not cool that the bleacher went down. My hometown was far enough out of London that it didn't get bombed. Far enough inland that it didn't really do much of anything, really. Like I can read her mic now. See, the thing is, Dan, I may have been single for most of my life, but in all that time, what I've been doing is I've been listening to women. See? So I have some kind of actual understanding of how women work. Scary, I know, but if you're the single guy and you can see other people and you see them having arguments about things and you're thinking, why are you arguing about that stupid little thing? And they're having a big fight because the guy didn't put his dishes in the sink or something like that. It'll be something stupid like that. Why didn't you just do it when you were asked? If you asked to do something, do it straight away. Then you haven't got to worry about remembering to do it or getting moaned at for not doing it. If they sunk it, oh no, it would be different. Yeah, that is true. As if that hadn't happened, you probably would have allied with the Germans. So, yeah. But hey, history. We can't go back and change it. We can just learn from it. And that's what I try to do. Learn about it and learn from it. Hello, Elizabeth, or Miss Elizabeth, as Jess would say. How are you? Ooh. Ooh. It's like I haven't had Monster for a couple of weeks. Yeah, nothing stupid if it means something to the other person. Exactly. Yeah, take care of the small things. Get all the small things right. And if you mess up a big thing every once in a while, it's not too much of a problem then. Now, simple things like remembering a birthday or an anniversary. Even if you do just get a card and flowers, right, and chocolates. Don't forget the chocolates, unless they're on a diet. But if they're on a diet and you go, well, I didn't get you chocolates because you're on a diet, you're probably going to get a slap anyway. But yeah, that is as simple as sticking in your phone and giving yourself an alarm like the week before, so you've got a week to get a card and get sorted out. Not on the way home from work, stop off at the petrol station to pick up something. Yeah, these things are easy to do. I don't know why so many men get them wrong. Oh, pardon me. So you get those things right, and you can burp in front of your other half, and they don't slap you. I can burp in public with Mary, and I don't get in trouble. Mind you, that's probably mostly because she laughs at burps and farts as much as I do. Burps and farts are funny. Don't trust someone who doesn't laugh at a well-timed fart. That's a good life lesson. If someone thinks themselves above laughing at a fart or a well-timed burp, yeah, they just take themselves too seriously. There are certain things that we have to take seriously, but ourselves is not one of them. So say Confucius. What are you doing, Shelley Dwellies? Are you trying to dig to China again? Yeah, don't take life in general too seriously. It just depresses you otherwise. There's one reason why I don't watch or listen to the news anymore. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, so that was Taveram Garden Centre. We've got another equally poorly shot and audioed one coming this week from Scope Aquatics near Ipswich, which is where the Apistos came from. And I will be going back. Well, I mean, I'll be going back. He did offer Ollie, the lad who runs it. Thank you very much, Dan. Oh, pizza time for Lisa. Save a slice for me, as long as it hasn't got any pineapple on it. Otherwise, you're dead to me. Have a good week. Yeah, so he did say that when he next or at some point when he gets an order in, an import order, I can go down because he shuts on the day that he's getting the imports in, and I can film that and his film the unboxing, as it were, and his quarantine room. Because yes, he's got a little quarantine room out the back where all his new fishes that come in go into for a while. And while I was there, he found a dead fish in a tank. Actually, was gutted that the fish had died. Nothing to do with him. No, it's just one of these things we all know. Fish die. If you've got hundreds of them, they're more likely to die. The more you got, the more likely you're going to find a dead one. He actually seemed gutted that he kicked a bucket, and there he was putting it in his notebook, time, date, species, all that stuff. All the tanks are separate, so there's no big sump system or anything. It's individual tanks with sponge filters, probably a pig to water change, but no, it does mean if there's a problem in one tank, it stays in that one tank. And he had some fish that I've not seen before in shops. Oh, and some good tank mates for the dual cichlid. Oh, what would that be? Good tank mates for a dual cichlid. Oh. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It's got to be a bigger cichlid. It's pretty much all it's going to be. A bigger, more aggressive cichlid. Because I put dual cichlids in there. They were half the size of the electric blue acaras, and they beat up the electric blue acaras. One tried beating up Spaz. That one instantly regretted its life choices, judging by the size of the bite mark around its stomach. Gold barbs and pretty large and desolate. Yeah, they should go quite well actually, because barbs are pretty zoomy and in a group, and the Odessa barb being quite sizable, also quite violent. Yeah, that could work well. I'm just looking to see if I can see any more baby mollies. Yeah, adults are probably going to eat them all. Pretty chunky and very, very fast. Yeah, exactly. Super zoomy. That is the technical term for that. Yeah, a zoomy fish rather than chill out fish. like the acaras in there, they just sit there and look at the rainbow fish and the danios and go, "What the hell are you doing?" Try giant danios. That's one of the things I saw in Ipswich. Emptied the tubs yesterday. Did you get cold snap this week? Brr. Well, I mean, considering the weather you have been having, a cold snap would probably be welcome. But yes, safer to do that. Yeah, he had the giant danios, and he had spotted limias and humpback limias. I am very tempted, if I go back, to get some of the spotted limias. It's a rarish or rare live bearer. I say rare, I mean rare in that you don't see them in the shops very often in the UK. So if I could breed some of them, that is a live bearer I can actually sell. So yeah, those will trout good ears. The two I'm after if I'm going for other live bearers. We're going to say hammerhead shark. Yeah, hammerhead shark would be okay with a dual cichlid, because hammerheads can take fresh water for a while. Not quite as well as bull sharks. And bull sharks can survive in fresh water, full stop. And they've been found to be breeding in some of the more inland waterways in America. Yeah, because they've been finding baby bull shark teeth up in tiny little creeks and streams. And they're going, how the hell did they get here? They must have been here thousands of years ago. And then they do the tests and, oh, they're new. Yeah. Don't do the carbon dating and it's coming back as a negative because it's maybe 6 months old. And also Mary discovered there's another fish shop that's in the next kind of big town over, this. Only open 3 days a week, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to get in there as well. Have a look around, because they, again, have some different things. You tend to find you go in most shops and they have the same kind of things. I mean, this area, for example, it'll be African cichlids, just general random. Usually, normally just says African cichlids on the tank, or assorted mbuna, that kind of thing. Your general live bearers, bristle noses, angelfish, cribs, rams. Sound of an overfilling bucket. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Daniel's in trouble again. I hope that weren't one of the tanks in Mrs. DKF's room. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not a good noise to hear, an overfilling bucket. Room on the sofa? Yes, always, Dan. Always. I mean, I would say you're welcome to come and do a fish room tour, but long way to come for a very short video. That would be one you wouldn't be editing. So yeah. So yeah. What was the other thing I was say? Other fish I'm thinking of. I'm going to need some form of dither fish for 2 tanks. One which is 10-gallon with Palliatus cories. Yes, I know it's already overstocked. Be quiet. And also something suitable for a dither fish for opistogrammas and bristlenose plecos in a 15-gallon. Now, I was thinking, because the Palliatus are fairly cool water, I could probably get away with some longfin white clouds in there, maybe. But for the 15, probably either some kind of small tetra or maybe rasbora. Something that's not going to get big, isn't going to be a threat necessarily to the opistos or the plecos, and isn't likely to try to eat the opisto fry if I get any. Oh, here's the big daddy himself, there's Spotty boy. Yes, Spotty and Bertie, eh? Yeah, you're a very clever boy. As yes, the 100 odd baby bristlenoses in there are doing great. That part's on the tip. Yep, this is what. Anyone kept grape fins? I haven't, no. Don't think I've had any barbs. No, I haven't. Yeah, that's it. This is what the fish fam is for. We share knowledge and pointers and tips and stuff, and we help each other out where we can. There we go. You see, Fish Tropics get drape fins. Right, so I was thinking, something like maybe a glow light tetra as did the fish for the opistos, because I do find that something small and non-scary would be, something small that doesn't hide up is a good dither fish. And tetras are normally fairly out there. I mean, the main reason for the cories is because you just don't see them. I mean, when you feed them, you can see them from a distance. You can't get any closer than 6 feet to the tank. Mr. Bob of Kayla's Aquatics and Exotics and the Ark. Yep. We're all good, thank you very much, Bob, as far as I'm aware. Hope all is well with you. Sending Tibby and Yazzie fusses and belly rubs. 63 fry this week for my guppies. Still got 8 pregnant. Oh, geez. That is a lot of live food there, J-Rock. Unless you do actually purposefully breed and sell guppies, in which case, woohoo, money. And I'm guessing the sun's moved around to a different angle because suddenly the picture's a lot better. Not completely glared out on one side. I've got to say, those white mollies do look rather cool. A lot of new fish. Yeah, well, there were 50 odd guppies in there, J-Rock. There were a lot more fish in there. Then I put the spaz in there, and all the little fish disappeared, and some of the larger ones. Yeah, I mean, that's generally what the mollies are going to be for. Is the adults are really pretty and look nice and are interesting to watch, and the babies are just live food. I mean, no, admittedly, if by the time this time next week, basically, I'll take them out of quarantine, they go into there. Any fry that are in there, I'll grow out and sell on. But I'm not going to be going, oh, they've given birth in the big tank and looking out molly fry unless there's blimmin' hundreds of them and no one eats them. In which case, I'll have to rethink the idea of Acaras as eating small fish. I'm actually also wondering if the cribs, if the pistos would be okay in there, but I think the clown loaches would probably get to the eggs. Unless Mummy Episto basically walls up the cave, which they do tend to do sometimes. Going to overstock and see if we can get it to manage itself or unlock multi. I think the thing with guppies is they just overpopulate to the point where they start making themselves ill. They sort of get to a point and something will break out and kill a bunch off, and then the survivors are that bit stronger, and then it goes in cycles like that. 100 guppies. I'm really not the right person to ask about stock because, I've kept 100 bristle noses in a 10-gallon for months. Got 300 cherry shrimp in a 6-gallon. As I said in my previous video, they overstocked themselves. I didn't put that many in there. They made that many. Depends on filtration and water changes. Exactly. Can your filters pull enough muck out of the water? It's not necessarily worrying about biological filtration because, bacterial growing substrate on everything, not just on special pieces of ceramic media. Thank you very much, Bob. Always appreciated. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those Danios are fast as lightning. Found frying a 2.5 had been there for a week without air food. Yeah. And they're probably the strongest fry you've got. Yes, it's yeah, Barb's and Nippy. Yeah, and Barb's will. If they start getting upset, they'll start eating, attacking. I don't know if we're going. Yeah, plenty of muck removal. If there's anything that Scott's got, is plenty of tank space. Um, well, the way things are going, I'm going to have like empty fry tanks again. I mean, once the Epistos come out and the Mollies come out, I'm going to have 3 empty fry tanks. Well, I mean, obviously I've got those that will go into one of them, and hopefully then we'll get a spawn of super red bristlenoses, and hopefully a spawn of Epistogrammas, and hopefully a spawn of Corydorus, and anything else, or clown plecos would be very nice. You know, I like to have the problem of, oh my god, where am I going to put these fry? It's a good problem to have. Oh my god, what am I going to put in all these tanks? Because if the tanks are empty, I can switch off a heater and the filter and job done. As long as there's some Malaysian trumpet snails in there, they'll keep a cycle going in there. You don't need to do anything for them. And I think pretty much every tank has got Malaysian trumpet snails in now, apart from that one because it's got clown loaches. Good to know. Here, I really want a busy guppy tank, healthy. Yeah, and this is it. You can look at all these stocking advice things and whatever online or what people say, but each tank's different, and the fish will let you know when there's enough or too many of them. And you can either go by what your water tests are coming back as, or whether you notice a problem with the fish. What size? Yeah, 100 is going to be fine, I would say. They don't produce a whole lot of muck anyway. Exactly. 100 guppies is... So what did he say was that 40 breeder, which is what, 45, so 100, you're looking at 2 guppies a gallon. Yeah, that's fine. If I can go 10 bristlenoses a gallon, you can do 2 guppies a gallon. Admittedly, the filters need cleaning out twice a week on that bristlenose tub when it's full. I mean, on a similar thing, these are 24 litres, so what, 6 gallon tanks? There's 42 crebensis in there. You know, and that's only because everywhere is so full of crebensis at the moment, no one wants to buy any. Also run carbon and purigen. Yeah, that's one of those where it could help. I say things like carbon or purigen help in heavily stocked tanks. Let's put it that way. Lightly stocked tanks, they really don't do anything. Yeah, various live bearer diseases. Actually, someone I did see that was cool today in the LFS was one of their marine tanks. Rocks and corals and stuff, and clownfish and mollies, all in the same tank. That was really cool to see. Now you hear people go, "Oh no, mollies are brackish. You can keep them brackish." Blah blah blah. To actually see them in a full salt setup and seemingly doing well, yeah, that'll be okay in my water. They might have to chew their way through it occasionally. The amount of carbonates in there. Got videos just not listed anymore. Oh dear, did people start complaining that your tank was overstocked? I've had that. Your tank is overstocked. Everything's healthy in the breeding, so what's your problem? It's. I do kind of find it amusing when people, YouTubers, start taking down their early videos because like their newer videos are that much better that the old ones are a bit embarrassing. I haven't, because they're the same. It's I've been using the same camera, same setup, same way of doing it. Yeah, he didn't delete, he's keeping them private. But yeah, people do that, they delete their videos. Then you just leave it. Surely people are intelligent enough to understand that, hey, he looks about 10 years younger in that video than he does in this one. Perhaps that one was filmed on a potato 10 years ago. Perhaps current scientific thought has moved on, and what was being said in that video is now maybe out of date. But I mean, if the Victorians had YouTube, that would have been an interesting video. And here we have a spirit burner underneath the tank to keep it up to temperature. And now to cycle my tank to get it ready for fish, I'm going to pee in it. Oh boy, how bad would that upset people? We need an ammonia source, so I'm going to whop out the old chap and slash in the tank. Now, some people would tell me I need to stir the substrate up in my shell water tank because it's starting to look mucky down below the surface. What it is you can actually see where the anaerobic bacteria are. Because despite the amount of shellies in there, that thing runs with 0 nitrates. I put duckweed in it and the duckweed died. I tried salvinia, that died. I was like, why are the plants all dying? Oh, right, there's no food in there for them. Some, yeah. That's how I kept guppies. And my thing was getting hold of a bunch of various different kinds of guppies that have all been carefully line bred, and then just mixing them all up and see what came out. Got some very strange looking guppies, I have to be honest. Much as the same with my Skittles tank of cherry shrimps. All sorts of different colours and flavours and types in there. Come up with a filter for the ponds that will allow water flow and not send the duckweed. Yeah, so you want something that's going to draw in water from low down, and then also blow it out low down. I mean, a fountain type pump would work. What I did when I first restocked the pond or resorted it, again, Mary bought me one of those little solar powered fountains that you put in the pond. Yeah, cool little thing, worked well. But what I did was I got a pond plant pot. I think I've still got one kicking around somewhere. Let me grab it. It was down here somewhere underneath a pile of random guff. Here we go. I actually got a video up of it, how I do it, but basically plant pot, stick the pump in, surround it by sponge, and job done. Although I think the sponge has had it. Need to block the drops from allowing the plants to clog it. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Some kind of fairly fine mesh, because that will allow the water to flow underneath, but the top of it will stop the plants from going over. So like a weatherproof meshing type thing. Oh, pardon me. It's kind of hard to visualize in my head. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Just some kind of stainless steel mesh literally across the edges of the drops, so that the top of it will catch the T-tube with holes drilled in the down tube part. Yeah, that'll work well as well. Should do the trick. So it's just a case of figuring out the exact size of holes and whereabouts. You can always fudge something with a bit of PVC pipe. Two videos of fish on the channel, about 5 minutes each. Yeah, well, as I say, my channel started out purely for like modelling updates. What will siphon up the tea? That'd be the tricky bit. You'd have to mess about with hole sizes and whatever to get it to do it. If the holes are too big, it won't. If the holes are too small, it will probably just come out like a jet. There's all sorts of creative thinking-y ways around these issues. And so yeah, my channel, it was literally just some update videos on what I've been building model wise, and then just kind of went from there and got absurd. Then I bought a fish tank and did a couple of fishy videos, and then it gradually switched over, so it's all fish videos and no modeling videos. And now it's fish videos with a couple of paranormal videos thrown in. So well, that is something myself and Mary might do in the future, go for a wander around some ancient haunted places, because living where we are, let's be honest, there's lots of ancient buildings. So yeah, might make interesting content, might not, but hey. There we go. Down with the links, basic DIY pond filter video. Exactly. And I used exactly this. It's actually still in there. That one that I just had down there is one that was in the black pleco tub of crib multiplication. Literally just one of the cheapy filters that comes with the starter kits. You know, one that's got a tiny little bit of sponge in it. Like, oh, a filter. Ain't going to work in a pleco tub. So yeah, I dumped that around it and worked admirably. Kind of the extreme method of pimp my filter, by taking the filter and put it in a bigger filter. Because when you got that many plecos in a 10-gallon bucket, literally that was a black bucket, and then you put a couple of cribs, juveniles in there, a couple, maybe like a couple of dozen, I think it was, just to grow out, and then the cribs decide they're going to breed in there. Then you keep finding more and more and more cribs each time you clear all the cribs out. Because I've cleared out all my cribs at least 3 times now. So I've had no more cribs. I've got a tank full of them up there again. Where the hell do they come from? I've got a wormhole to crib dimension. Well, I did check the empty bucket and there are no dried up cribs in there. So that's a good sign. Although they might have developed legs and started walking now, you never know. Cross between a crib and a newt. Hey, if I could breed those, that would be awesome. Yeah. Sharpe's crib newts. Cribensis newtii. Oh no, I'd have to get my name in there. I suppose that's really kind of the dream, isn't it? For all us fish nerds, to get something named after us and not just a disease. Thank you very much, Bob. Yeah. Just one more tank, I promise. Although perhaps just one more rack. That might be a bit of a better, bit more accurate. Actually, yeah. How are your was it the blue steel pistos you had, Bob? How are they going now? I know they weren't breeding well for you. Hope they still are. And you've got thousands of little pistolets. Jump on Cruty. Oh God, no. My days of having a mullet are long gone. It'd be something Sharpe, wouldn't it? And then watch people mispronouncing it permanently. Bonus about ship something to Maria. Awesome. See if you can sell them back to Dan. I had that filter for about a year now. How's it working for you? Yeah. No problems with any of my filters, whichever one it was you were talking about. Pond filters are going fine. Tank filters are all going fine. Pond one, yeah. The only issue I had, well, the solar power one, the only issue I had was the batteries died. But that's because, it comes with cheap rechargeable batteries. So I took some of my high capacity rechargeable batteries and put in there. And that's going rather well. And the actual mains powered one actually filters a bit too well because it clags up at least twice a week. So yeah, if I clean it, it clags up again in 3 days. So I need to clean it more often, basically. Yeah, moves the water at a vast rate of knots. I mean, it's in there. It's been clagged up for months. It's moving a bit of water, nothing spectacular. So it's basically an unfiltered pond. Because when I do clean it, I clean it in tap water. But yeah, the amount of life in that pond. And when I did my water testings video the other week, don't bother with the link, Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's what, 100 and something gallons, and it's got 3 sensible sized comets in there, many frogs, many snails, all sorts of other life, and it's running at 0 nitrate. What could be doing that? Do we reckon the build-up of pond sludge in there might have something to do with that? I think it may do. I've got a funny feeling that thick black sludge at the bottom of the pond is probably full of anaerobic bacteria, which is going on the nitrates. Because I can't see that the is it Eladia I got in there? Yeah, Eladia. I can't see that that's a thing. Not doing much. Pam still wants to do a special supernatural themed theme. I would dearly love to do a supernatural themed theme with Pam. I think it's probably the biggest issue is both of us being awake at the same time, Bob. I think that's where the problem with that's going to come. And if you're wondering what the weird shadowy thing is in there, I trimmed one of the crypts in there and just chucked a bit into each of the tanks. First year for a pond. Yeah. Now, not that I'm in any position to be any kind of expert or super knowledgeable person, but to my mind at least, a more natural pond that isn't massively filtered and interfered with does a lot better than one that is. Oh my God, there's algae in my pond. Well, the snails will eat it. Oh my God, there's snails in my pond. They've eaten your algae. Oh my God, there's muck in the bottom of my pond. That's cleaning your water and growing a lot of small animals, which the bigger animals eat, which your fish eat. Hello, Nola. How are you, my dear? It's kind of weird how when you look at things like ponds or fish tanks on a smaller scale, that if you let nature do what nature does, they tend to work out quite well. If you keep interfering and messing around with things and worrying about tiny little details, they tend to go wrong. Or you end up spending thousands on filters and chemicals and snail ponds, put a few snails in them. Yeah, exactly. And they're not doing any harm. Same as in fish tanks. Snails are great things to have. And if I was going to fishless cycle a tank, I would do a snail cycle. Now, I reckon if you started a tank off with plants and snails in it, it'd probably cycle a hell of a lot quicker. People probably wouldn't get all upset at you that you're killing your fish when you're not. Maybe that's an experiment I could try. Yeah, I think pond snails are awesome. The speed they reproduce, yeah. It's when you get the proper grandad snail and you look and there's a pond snail that big just going across the surface. And there's sort of comet, the sort of 6-inch comet goldfish sat there looking at it going, no, you're too big to eat. But yeah, I'll say what I've got in there is a natural kind of cycle. You know, goldfish, the comets poop, which produces stuff for small life to grow. The small microscopic life feeds slightly larger life, which feeds slightly larger life, which feeds the comets, which poop. And then it gets filled up when it rains. Yeah, oh yeah, pond snails do get zoom on. They're proper zoomy snails. And not like a nerite that takes half an hour to go 6 inches. These pond snails will have done a lap of the tank in that time. I mean, when I got my first tank, I wanted some snails in it for the good things that snails do. And for whatever reason, I could not find snails anywhere in any of the shops. Nothing. No nerites, no trumpet snails, no ram's horn snails, nothing at all. The only thing I could find was assassins, and yeah. So I just grabbed a few small snails out of my pond, thinking that'll be fine. They'll, a bit warm, but they should be okay. Next thing I knew, I had honking great snails in there, and lots of them. And then I cut back on the amount of food I put in there, and the snails died off. And I pulled the last few ones out and chucked them back in the pond again. Yeah, snails rock. Actually, you know what? Next time I do get either a new tank or start one up, I think I might do a video, kind of tongue in cheek, on the snail cycle. Because You know, and that's how I keep these things cycled when I haven't got fishes in. I've all, well, other than the shelly tank, because the shellies eat them um, all the rest of them have got trumpet snails in. So when they're empty, no fish in there, I just turn off the heater and the filter and leave the snails in there. And when I want to, if it's got a power filter, I turn the power filter off. Ones that just got sponge filters, I leave the sponge filter running because the air pump's running anyway. I'm not saving electric by turning it off. So, yeah, the snails keep the tank cycled. And then you dump your fry in there, or your new fishes to go through. Only so it do that because the stock tanks came from a mountain house and then caught me calcium built up in the inside. Calcium equals snail shells. Yep, exactly. I'm in a hard water area, so I don't need to add anything to my water for African cichlids, which is why they're very popular in this part of the world, or in this part of the country, because we've got very hard water, so hard water fish do well. Yeah, snails have a small bioload. They do. But yeah, it's a bioload. It gets things moving. And it all depends how many snails. Because I do look at tanks when people are talking about cycling their tank. And I've seen it where they've had a 10-gallon tank that's planted and they're cycling it for one better and one snail. I'm thinking that better and that snail isn't going to produce enough waste to get a cycle running or to keep the cycle running. Well, I mean, it all depends on any fish you got in the pond. I mean, so I've got comets in my pond. I don't have a heater in it. It freezes up in the winter. They're fine. The snails won't mind a bit of ice. And if the water's moving, because you've got fountain or waterfall, it should be fine. I'll say if it's a fish that will do fine in, if it's a native species, let's say, to where you are, or somewhere colder, it'll be all right. I mean, those comets have survived minus 10 degrees C, which is probably somewhere similar in F. Can't read it. It's too much algae on the thermometer. Regular Danio. Yeah, Danio might. I don't know. Danios can take it fairly cold. Yeah. But I would have thought trying to catch a Danio out of a pond would just be a nightmare anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it. And the cost of even running one heater in try and keep a pond slightly above freezing is going to outweigh the cost of a Danio. And there are people in the UK, admittedly in slightly warmer parts of the UK than me, that have cherry shrimp in their outdoor ponds all year round. Guppies will probably end up out there. And so if you're putting guppies out there in winter, then you may want to heat it. But things like rice fish are fine when the pond freezes over. And it all depends how deep it is, how much water movement you got. Because if it's deep enough, the water will stay warm at the bottom. Mine is 2.5 foot deep at the deep end, And in the winter, that's where the Comets go. 50-gallon stock tubs. 50 gallon. Yeah, you might get away with it. I say 50-gallon stock tubs being fairly regular shaped. It shouldn't be too bad to catch anything in there. But you're going to need a bigger net. Yeah, you're not going to be wanting to go after them with something like that in a pond. And heck, even that thing will probably be a bit small. That's what I use for emptying these things out. Pretty much. Look, guppies died in indoor tub, went down lower than 55. Yeah, I'd say guppies don't do well in the cold. Wild type guppies probably would, but no, domesticated, as it were, genetically modified, probably technically, I suppose you could say at this point, the amount that's been done to guppies over the decades. So I don't know quite where you are, Jay. So I mean, if you're North America, then I wouldn't be putting guppies outside over winter. If you're like South North America, no. 30 below. Yeah, 30 below is, yeah, even I'd wear a coat in that. I think it might be about 30 below where the two scales meet up. Something like that. It's somewhere around there that Celsius and Fahrenheit meet up is somewhere around 30 below, I think. Someone probably knows that. I don't really. I'm just guessing. As long as it doesn't reach 0 degrees Kelvin, because then everything will die. Yeah, if you can ice skate on the lakes, yeah, the pond will definitely freeze up. You might even want to insulate the pump. (32 degrees Kelvin). Are we okay with the science or the Google foo? One or the other. Yeah, you don't want to be getting down to absolute 0. Because at that temperature, even the parts of the atoms stop moving. So nothing's going to survive. I mean, the furthest I would go to make sure my pond didn't freeze would be chuck a couple of tennis balls in there. Oh no, not poor cobalt. Nasty heater burn. Oh dear. Did she get stuck behind the heater, or do the silly fall asleep on the heater thing that plecos like to do sometimes? Just popped into there. That's one of those things, Kato. These things go in and you're not even aware they're in there, and sometimes they pop back out again. Random factoids that we learn without realizing we've learned. Might even have been from high school. That's almost as long ago as I was at high school. And he probably paid more attention than I did as well. Oh, fire in the hole. Pardon me. Now my backy tin's empty. That's not good. Well, if backy tin's empty and I need a pee, I'll be back in a moment if I can stand up. Oh, geez, here's where the age starts to kick in. Ugh, scary view. So I have got shorts on. Here I come to save the day. Mighty Mouse is on his way. Ugh. Fish are so fragile, you know, in trouble when you're naming them. Well, a lot of my fish are named. And it might just be silly names, but I mean, all my plecos are. One of my acaras is. Who else? Cribs were, the betters were. You heard that? That was halfway upstairs. Naming them seems to jinx them. I think there is something to that. So, I mean, I don't name them for a couple of months. What I tend to find is once a fish has made a couple of months in your tank, you're pretty sure it's going to be okay. So yeah, I've learned not to name them straight away, one smoker to another. Yes. Sometimes you got to have a good fall, haven't you, Kay? Ah, Melvin, how the devil are you, sir? Yeah. So yeah, at some point I'm going to be looking for names for clown plecos. The male is already got a name in my head. Just need a name for 2 female clown plecos. Oh yeah, calling a cat lucky is just oh. It's asking for trouble, isn't it? Oh. Well, lurk away, but thanks for coming in, Jay. Kay has nearly guessed what the males are going to be called. Bozo and Lulu Bell. Oh, yes. Heath and... Ooh. Who is the guy who played Joker in the original Batman, the TV series? Yes, you got it, Kay. I can't not do, can I? Come on. The fact that I didn't name the clown loaches, anything like that. Yeah. Pennywise, Heath and Romero. Or Ledger. Yeah, Ledger and Romero. That would be the one. Aha, it's Graham. Hello, sir, Mr. Aquarium Adventures. How are you, Captain Ranty? It's one of those where I knew the name, and if I'd have thought about it a while, I would have gone, bingo, got it. But I've got other people here, some of which may know, some of which may just Google it. Rant free this evening. You got it off your chest, Graham. Good. But yeah, that was the whole thing with that article. I assume everyone's aware now, even our American friends. One show did a thing on why you shouldn't keep fish and it's bad for them and blah blah blah. And you go, Graham went through the entire article. Was it on the PETA website? And it starts out saying one thing, and then by the end of it, it's saying exactly the other thing. Completely, no one proofread it. So you shouldn't buy fish. Oh, you shouldn't buy. What was it? It was basically on the lines of you shouldn't buy fish from big pet shops and corporations and blah blah blah. You should get them from local people. And then by the end of it, there is ask your local pet shop. Make sure your fish has a friend. Adopt a fish from someone else if they have one that's lonely. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, these are people who obviously know nothing about keeping fish. And probably no clue about the amount of fish that still exist purely because of the... I mean, okay, the hobby may well be responsible for some being extinct in the wild, but there's plenty more that would be completely extinct if it wasn't for fish keepers. The black-tailed shark is one of them. It is now. It's either highly endangered or extinct in the wild. I think it was extinct, and then they kind of found some. But yeah, that wouldn't exist apart from the hobby. Took in your neighbour's spare tetra to keep the flower horn company. Yeah, that's like me buying guppies to keep a bicher company. This well, don't worry about it, Bob. There's far worse misspellings to make. Like all the Americans keep missing the I out of aluminium. Also wondered exactly where to release the flower horn. Yeah, where do you release a fish that doesn't actually exist in the wild into the wild? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I reckon under a false name, or Krusty, that would be a good clown name. Under a false name, Graham, you've got to email PETA and ask them where you should release your flower horn back into its natural habitat. Well, I suppose if you got enough tetras, they probably would eat a flower horn. Do I go with that joke? I mean, especially if it was all female exodons, because I all love a bit of cock for tea. Oh, God. I don't believe I went there. That's Graham's fault. That's Graham and his cock stickers and cock t-shirts. But exactly. Yeah. I know it's technically pronounced differently, isn't it? Kirk, I suppose. But yeah, it's spelled K-O-K, so it's pronounced cock. I'm not a fan of flower horns just literally because of that. Looks like we're an American football helmet. And you shouldn't need to wear a helmet to play ball sports. Unless, of course, the ball is made out of leather and wood and is coming at you at 100 miles an hour. Anyone who's been hit by a cricket ball will know exactly what I mean. Even with a box, it really hurts. Let's see if we've got any. No more baby mollies? No. You're eating them all, is that what it is? Probably. Yeah, it's that entire article. If you read it, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's a complete clickbait article on the one show. Because anyone with any sense of understanding of keeping fish can just go through everything they said and go, nope. But I mean, on the upside, it gives us fish tubers something to talk about or rant about, in Graham's case. Yeah, how's it going, Melvin? No. And if anything, it's brought keeping fish up. And anyone who doesn't like PETA, people eating tasty animals, anyone who doesn't like them is now more likely to keep fish because they know it's going to upset them. Well, if their mind works like mine, they will anyway. Because upsetting people we don't like is always fun. Well, until you get punched in the face, but you know. That's why noses are good at absorbing impacts. Which article? Basically, PETA came out and said that keeping fish in a tank is cruel and other stuff. And then as they went through the article, they basically ended up saying the opposite. By the end of it, they said at the start of it, yeah, just PETA being PETA, really. And I don't remember where. Bob probably does. There was a lady from PETA went into, was it Walmart or PetSmart, somewhere like that, and put bleach in all the fish tanks to kill the fish to save them from having to live their lives in a fish tank. Completely missing the point that they're basically all captive bred anyway. Most of the fish that most people buy haven't seen in their wild environment for generations upon generations. Oh heck, anyone who buys my bristle noses or cherry shrimp, they've never seen what water parameters they should be in. And at the moment, I am the sole supplier of cherry shrimp to my local fish store. The sole supplier to my local fish shop of cherry shrimp. So, yay. That'd be why they keep taking them off me then. I could probably go in there every week. Fish cartel, exactly. I am the fish cartel. As they was it the shops they called the dealers, wasn't it? So yeah. If I'm the cartel, the shop is the dealer, and the customer is the addict. Yeah, they teach you how a lot more about how the natural world works. You learn to understand more and appreciate more what's going on in your local rivers, lakes, ponds, and how everything ties in together. Okay. Is your local stream clogged by water plants? Yes. Why is it clogged by water plants? Well, because just upstream is a pig farm, and all the pig slurry ends up making its way into the river with all those nitrates and fertilizer, and it grows lots of plants, which clogs up the river, which then silts up and floods again, as it did this week in Attleborough. All those people buying their lovely new built houses down on the floodplain were most upset. Meet the franchise house. Tennessee, yeah, the Tennessee Fish Mafia. Yeah, I'm the Attleborough Fish Cartel. I need a suit with big lapels and big medallion and a pair of sunglasses. That's what I need. Yeah, and I can definitely be the Attleborough Fish Cartel. Yeah, you can be the coastal branch, Kay. Coastal branch of the Norfolk Fish Cartel. Got to go, got 7 miles of network cables. I know that feeling, Graham. I know that feeling. Have fun. Stay safe, and I shall probably see you next Friday if you don't get hung in 7 miles of network cables. And speaking of which, it is also my time to go as well. So that went quick. So thank you everyone for turning up and for hitting that like button. Even if you're just lurking, good to have you here. The scariest thought for any live streamer, seeing that viewer count at 0, the old boy Fishmobile. Oh, yeah. NFC, Norfolk Fish Cartel. There we go. But yeah, so thanks everyone for turning up. Back again, same time next week. Have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I know that doesn't cut much out, but you know. Have a good one. Enjoy your hobby. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah.